So I finished this book recently, and according to Goodreads, I have come to learn that I have an unpopular opinion. So let's dive into my thoughts on Betting on You by Lynn Painter. So before we get into my thoughts and opinions with the book, let's just start with the plot. Our story begins with Bailey, who is our female main character, and Charlie, who is our male main character, meeting at the airport in Alaska. They're both flying back from visiting their fathers in Alaska, and they're flying home to Nebraska to be with their mothers. Bailey and Charlie, they are definitely like they've got some bickering going on. They don't really get along, and that just kind of continues. We then flash forward 3 years into the future, and Bailey and Charlie end up working at the same place. There is kind of a group of four that's hanging out, and that is Bailey and Charlie, Bailey's best friend Nikisa, I don't know, and then this other random guy Theo, who Nikisa has known for some time, and Nikisa and Theo are flirting a little bit. And Charlie says, "Hey, by the way, guys and girls can't just be friends. Period, point blank, they can't just be friends." And so they start hanging out, or I guess they have a bet that Nikisa and Thea are going to hook up, even though Nikisa has a boyfriend. Then we get, I would say, to the main plot point, which is Bailey's mother is dating this guy, Scott. Bailey feels like their relationship was moving really fast because he's staying the night at the house and he is infringing on their time together as mother and daughter. And Bailey wants to kind of slow down this relationship because she's afraid of the change that's going to come if her mom marries this guy, moves him in with this guy, and she's worried about losing even more time with her mom because she's already lost time with her dad. Scott, the boyfriend, says, "Hey, let's go on a vacation together so we can get to know each other." And Bailey decides that she is going to bring Charlie on this trip to essentially piss off Scott and cause conflict in his relationship with her mom. Wouldn't you have it, sparks kind of fly. That is kind of the plot. Now that I'm thinking about it, the plot's a little bit all over the place. Hmm. Moving on. So let's get into my main critiques. This is where maybe we get a little bit of a rant. I did not like a single character aside from Bailey. Poor girl. She has emotionally absent parents. Her dad, at the point in the book where we're at, her dad has not spoken to her for 4 months because she noticed she was always initiating. And when she stopped initiating, he didn't speak to her. Why is this? Well, he has a new girlfriend. And so he is spending a lot more time with this new girlfriend and he's not spending any time with his daughter. Bailey's mom. We'll get into Bailey's mom a little bit more later. Didn't care for her either. Nikisa. She has a boyfriend and she is flirting with this guy the whole time. And the fact that she sees no problem with it, like I understand she's 17, but oh my gosh, like I understood there were boundaries in a relationship at the age of 17. Maybe I'm the only one. Theo is a jerk and annoying. The only character I truly liked was Bailey. Now Charlie. Charlie is the male main character. I will tell you what, when I went on Goodreads and saw all the people talking about how they needed a man like Charlie Sampson, I was in shock. Because if my friend was dating or talking to a guy that was in any way, shape, or form like Charlie, I would tell her to run for the hills. He is a walking red flag. When Bailey meets him, he is making out with this girl at the airport, and then he says, "Yeah, we're probably going to break up. She'll find out eventually." Huh? Charlie's also extremely emotionally manipulative with Bailey. He will make advances towards her, and then when she reacts to the advances, he's like, "Why do we need to talk about this? Like, it's no big deal, right? We're just friends. We're not even friends. We're coworkers. Coworkers make out sometimes." As someone who is 30 years old and has worked in a number of places, I have never made out with my coworker. Not even once. The main, I guess, like relationship third act breakup is they have a moment, they spend the night together, they make out, they share feelings, and then he ghosts her for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, he doesn't respond to her text messages. He switches his shifts at work so that he can avoid seeing her. She wakes up in the morning and he is gone. And all he says is, "Let yourself out." And then when she finally gets in touch with him, he says, "Why do we have to make this such a big deal?" Um, because it is a big deal, Charlie. It is a big deal. Yes, he groveled. He did have some good groveling, and they ended up getting back together. Surprise, surprise. But the minute he ghosted her and said, "Why do we have to talk about this?" I was like, red flag. Ding, 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 ding. That's a red flag, girl. You gotta, I don't care if he's good looking, you gotta count your losses and you gotta run. So I didn't want them together. Now, let's talk about Bailey's mother. Because apparently I'm the villain for somehow impeding on Bailey's mother's happiness. Let me tell you why I'm okay with being the villain. Bailey's mom has a 17-year-old daughter living in the house. Bailey has moved from another state. She's living in an apartment and it's just her and her mom. We see the entirety of the book that Bailey's mom is dating this guy, Scott, that Bailey does not care for. And yet he's always there. Bailey dates Scott like she is a teenager, not a mom who has a teenage daughter who has gone through a lot with her dad not talking to her. When you are a parent, I'm not a parent yet. However, I was a teenager and my mom was dating and eventually married my stepdad. You can't date like a teenager. Your priority as a parent is not your own happiness, it is your children. And I don't care that Bailey is 17 and about to go off to college. She will always be your daughter. Bailey's mom had so little care about her daughter's feelings. It was insane. There was this one moment that made me like absolutely rage. Bailey wakes up in the morning. She goes into the kitchen to eat breakfast. She's in her pajamas, and Scott, the boyfriend, is just there. Bailey gets really embarrassed because she's not dressed for company. And all her mom says is, "Hey, Bailey, I think you should probably wear more clothes when we have guests over." When did you ask Bailey if it was okay for her to have random men in and out of her house? Bailey and her mom have a moment of connection. And finally, they're talking. Finally, Bailey is sharing how she feels. Scott waltzes into this place where they're meeting. The mom squeals like a little schoolgirl, has him sit down, and then he proposes. And when Bailey finally talks to her mom, her mom's response is, "What? Do you not like him?" "Well, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think it was in your best interest. Just give it a chance." When Bailey says, "I don't want to move in with him," her mom says, "He has a really nice spare room for you." And it just drove me freaking batty. I was like, am I supposed to think that Bailey's the bad guy for not wanting her mom to be with this guy? Because in my opinion, Bailey is a teenage girl who's been emotionally abandoned by her dad, who's being emotionally manipulated by a boy, and is being emotionally neglected by her mother, who is her best friend. But I'm supposed to say, no, Bailey's immature because her mom deserves happiness. Single moms deserve happiness. Of course, single moms deserve happiness. I'm so thankful that my mom married my stepdad. But your priority is being a parent. All in all, this book was, in my opinion, a book about selfish people pursuing selfish pursuits and not really caring about the consequences of their actions. I really feel for Bailey. I was very hurt for her because she has friends that don't really care about her. She has parents who don't really seem to care for her. And she has this boyfriend who has no qualms about emotionally manipulating her. He ends the book saying, "I still don't know if relationships last forever. I still don't know if relationships can last forever." And he has the attitude that there will always be a greater love that will come along. I think that overall, Lynn Painter can write really charming stories. However, as a 30-year-old reading a YA book, was this probably not for me? No, it probably wasn't for me. However, do I think that it was the right messaging for teenage girls? Absolutely not. If a man is able to ghost you after sharing he has feelings for you, then you need to run. Period, point blank. And this is like, I have definitely rambled and ranted a lot because I just was so angry for the last 100 pages of the book because I was thinking, what are we teaching teenage girls about love and what good relationship should look like? And I don't think that this is what girls should be aspiring to because they deserve better. We all deserve better. Anyways, I had some strong feelings about that. But if you follow along, you will learn that I have strong feelings about everything. So, those are my thoughts on Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I do think I will continue and try more Lynn Painter books. This just wasn't the one for me, and you know what? That's okay.